Hey guys, this is my first installment of just me teaching things. I don't know what name I'm gonna use yet, so you can just call me a teacher. I don't know. But that's besides the point. Today we're gonna learn about lattice multiplication. This is my favorite multiplication strategy of all time. I learned it in second grade, and I wasn't supposed to have learned it because it wasn't in the curriculum, but I learned it anyways. And I started getting points off on my homeworks and my tests because I was supposed to be using US traditional, but I had fallen in love with lattice multiplication, and so I just used that. And on the surface, it seems really tricky, really difficult, but it's actually really easy. It all comes down to addition. So, let's take say 35 times 28. I know, that seems really big, especially if you're in the level of math where you're just starting out with multiplication and multiplying two-digit numbers. Seems really hard, right? However, you're gonna like this. So, first, you want to count the numbers in each, like the digits in each number. So, in 35, we have 1, 2. So that's 2 digits. And then in 28, we also have 1, 2. 2 digits. So then you want to make a square. And I cannot draw a perfect square. Oh, there we go. Perfect. I'm surprised it actually worked. Yay. So you want to make a square. And you want to split this into 2 sections either way. So one here, one here. And so you split it down 1, 2 for this one, 35. And then horizontally, that's side to side, we can do better than that. You split it 1, 2 for this number. And you do that based on how many digits. So if this was 280, say, you would add a third row. Or if this was just 2, you would only have 1 row. But we're doing 35 times 28. So then you want to take your numbers, 35, and you put them down, one for each box. And then you do 28. 28. And so you have your numbers there. And from there, what you're going to do is you're going to make diagonals. And if you're doing this in pencil, I'd suggest just pressing down lightly. I'm going to change it to a different color. I'm going to change it to pink. And you want to do diagonals in these squares. So for this one, this middle one, since we're doing 2 numbers and we have 4 squares, that's going to go through the diagonal middle of these 2 squares. And then for these, you want to kind of chop them up. Kind of like how you'd chop up a sandwich. If that's kind of how you chop up your sandwiches. I know some people do this, but that's how I always chopped up my sandwiches. Alright, so once you have your lattice grid, I know it seems absolutely crazy, but trust me on this. So now you want to multiply these single numbers. And so what we're doing is we're breaking this problem down to have to only do single number multiplication. So, you ask yourself, what's 5 times 2? Well, 5 times 2 is 10. And you go to this next one, this next row here. And you ask, what's 3 times 2? So that's 6. And so you put an O, because there's no tens place there, and you put a 6. And what's 5 times 8? So then you can count on your hands or on this. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So that would be 40. And what's 8 times 3? And so you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm purposefully not using a calculator because I know a lot of times in this stage in math, you're not allowed to use a calculator. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Just get rid of all those dancing numbers. So you put in 24, and I'm just going to quickly check on my calculator to see if that's right. Always check your work if you can. It's 8 times 3, right? 8 times 3. Yeah, I got it right. Awesome. So, now you have your numbers in place. And you have your zeros in their places. And you want to put them in these diagonals, right, for each box. Then you can do the fun part. And so you want to take, let's say, all of these diagonal rows and you want to add them. So for this one, the only number in this diagonal row here is 0. So you would carry, okay, I'm trying to pick this color. You could carry down the 0. But in this, we have 2 4s. And so you would take the 4, and what's 4 plus 4? Well, 4 plus 4 is 8. And then you only have a 0 left over, and you're not going to add that. So you put in 8 for this little row. And now you have this. You have 1 plus 6. What's 1 plus 6? That's 7. So you keep the 7 in your mind. And now what's 7 plus 2? That would be 7, 8, 9. So you put a 9 there. And then for this, you carry the 0, and you don't have to do that because there's only a 0 here. And so you wouldn't have a 0 at the beginning of your number. So that should be 35 times 28. We're going to check it. That should be 9, 8e. So you put those together, right? You have the 9 in the hundreds place, 8 in the tens place, 0 in the ones place, 980. And we're going to check that right now just to make sure I'm not goofing here. What were we doing? We were doing 35 times 28. 35 times 28 is 980. And so, yeah, hopefully this is becoming clear to you guys and that you guys are really liking this now that you know it. Let's try another one. We're going to do a simple one, a simpler one than this, and we're going to do a harder one. So let's do 49 times 7. And I personally have never liked multiplying by 7s. We're going to do 49 times 7. We're going to make a box there. That's a kind of silly box. And so you count the digits again. So that's 1, 2 for 49, and 1 for 7. So we can cut this one in half and only make a rectangle here. You only have one digit here. So you're going to put your 7 there. And you're going to put your 49 up here. And you can do it the other way. I just like going horizontally. So you do the same thing. You split these up into diagonals like the sandwiches. And then 9 times 7. I can do this real quick. I know my multiples of 9. That'll be a later video. That'll be probably the next video because I love multiples of 9. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Should be 6. Is that 63? 73? Let's check it. Let's check it if I got that right. 9 times 7. Yeah, 63. All right, awesome. I do know my multiples of 9, guys. So we have a 6 and we have a 3, 63. See how I put them in those little spots there. And then 7 times 4. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 28. Had to do some. I'm trying my best not to use a calculator except for checking answers. Was it 28 that I said? I think it was 28. My mind is... I'm just so excited to teach this. We're going to check this. 7 times 4. Okay, yeah. Always check your work, guys, if you can. If you're allowed to have a calculator, check it that way. If you're not, there are probably other ways to check it, and I'll probably make a video on that. Anyways, so now we count our columns, right? We have a 3 here, 3 going down this way. So we're going to put a 3 here. Now for this is where it gets a bit tricky. So 8 plus 6, and we're doing addition, right? 8 plus 6, what is that? So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's a multi-digit number. Now you're not just going to put 14 in here. What you do is you use the ones place here, and you put the 4, because that's in the ones place of 14. And then you add a 1, which is the tens place of 14, up to here. So now what's 2 plus 1? That's 3. And so 49 times 7 should be 343. We're going to go in our calculator and check that again. That's 49 times 7 equals 343. And now let's do one with more numbers. This is going to be our last one of the day. So let's do 21 times 150. This is a big one. So again, you count the digits. You have 1, 2 for 21, and 1, 2, 3 for 150. It's not. All right. So this one, you want to make a bigger rectangle, right? And now you want to have 1, 5, 0, 150, and 2, and 1. And you split it down. And since this is multiplication and the order doesn't matter, the order of the numbers that you're multiplying doesn't matter in multiplication, this could also, say, go this way, right? It can go either way you want, either way that fits on your paper, just whatever you want to do. And so now we're going to have to do some more splitting. So, you make your diagonals. For this one, you have a lot more diagonals, right? But just keep splitting it down and just make these diagonals starting at the top, going down, splitting through these multiple squares. And now we have a bit of multiplication. So what's 1 times 1? And this should be an easy one. 1 times 1 is 1. So we put a 0, right, because there's no tens place in 1 times 1. And then we put a 1. And then what's 1 times 2? Well, 1 times a number is always the other number. So that's 2. And we can continue that. 1 times 5 is going to be 5. And then 5 times 2 is going to be 10. And for zeros, anything that's multiplied by a 0 is going to be 0. So you put 0, 0, 0, 0. And now you can do the fun bit, the adding. So coming down here, we have a 0. Coming down here, how many numbers do we have? We have 3 numbers, but these 2 are zeros, so they don't count. The only one we have is a 5. So we take that 5, and you have a 5 there in that column. And that's the same with this one. We only have a 1. The rest of these are zeros. So this, the bottom of this, is a 1. And then the only adding we really have to do for this problem is the 2 and the 1, which makes 3. And this 0 doesn't count. So our number is 3150. And that's 3,150. And so let's try that. 21 times 150. Let's go in here. 21 times 150 is 3,150. I really hope you're enjoying this lattice multiplication. It's my favorite. But yeah, that's how you do it. I'll probably do a follow-up to this a bit later, showing it's really quick, the decimal rule for this, because this can work with multiplying decimals. But I think I'm going to end the video here. Please let me know any feedback, anything you think I should do next, anything that you'd want to see, anything that I should fix in here. And just give me feedback. I love to see feedback, and yeah, happy learning, guys. Learning it's fun, and I really hope you like my little trick here. All right, adios.